Hello, my name is Carter Jones and I serve as the Special Projects Coordinator for the South Carolina State Firefighters Association. And part of my job is traveling the state, assisting fire departments in gathering their history and putting it to pen, capturing old stories and that sort of thing, preserving our history, if you will. Well, I have the neatest job in the world, and one of the benefits of that job is meeting people with unusual backgrounds or who have an interest in the fire service. And last year I received a call from a gentleman up around Columbia, lives in Lexington, who loves to hunt artifacts with a metal detector. And he called me to tell me that he had found an object that he figured was related to the fire service, that it was old, but it needed to be identified. So I visited with him in Columbia, and oh my, what a treasure I recognized that it was. But I didn't know exactly its origin or who may have owned it. So I took some photographs and reached out to some experts. I reached out to the library with the FDNY and some of its staff. I reached out to others who I consider to be historians, and they all identified it as a medallion coming from the era of possibly the Civil War. And of course we know from our research that many firemen fought for both the North and the South. And when they went into battle, they were often found carrying their badges as a means of identification. So we have that photograph and the actual badge, and I'd like to share that with you. It is embossed with a hand-drawn hose reel, hand-drawn steam engine, and a hand-drawn ladder wagon. And of course it has all of the trumpets and ladders and pike poles embossed in it as well. We have narrowed it down to the era of the Civil War, the middle 1800s, 1850 to 1870 possibly. It has links at the bottom and at the top to carry ribbons or maybe a name tag. We also know from experience that during the Civil War, a number of the New York firemen, called the fire zouaves, were held captive and brought to Charleston at Castle Pinckney. And we have a unique photograph of those firemen standing in front of their prison cells, and many of them were wearing the badges as a means of identification from their fire departments back home. Now, the rest of this story is yet to be figured out, but one day hopefully we will find out where it came from, who may have owned it, and the circumstances why it's in the South. But in the meantime, this goes to show that we live in a great brotherhood, the fire service, a brotherhood like no other.